I'm Peter John Ross. I'm the director and producer of the Social Media Monster documentary. It's now an ongoing series. This is a little update. This is what I would like to call Anatomy of a Troll. This is where we're going to take just one little incident and kind of dissect it and talk about the hardships of proving and working with law enforcement and social media companies when someone's harassing you. Recently, Matthew Burdick has been doing Twitter live videos and stating he only has one social media account.
Oh, social media monster. I have one social media account, this one.
A Facebook account for a Matthew Boehm followed the Social Media Monster Facebook page. There were no photos on the profile. It was kind of a first clue something was off. And when you look at it, it became pretty clear that this might be Matthew Burdick. The co-producer of the film, Alfie, did some digging and he immediately found a LinkedIn page for Matthew Boehm that had this photo of Matthew Burdick. From there, he found an 877 number and a company called Ingenia Home Support Services, which brought us back to Facebook, where it had a Facebook page for that too.
Is your computer acting up? Call us. We can help.
By tracking down the 877 number and doing some basic internet searches, you could see multiple Craigslist ads that showed he was in Reno, Nevada, Sunnyvale, California, San Francisco, California, and even northern LA. Ingenia Home Support Services was supposedly doing kind of basic home repairs, TV installations, and other things, and it was listed as licensed, insured, and bonded. But we could find no record of that company being filed anywhere in the United States. It's possible he's registered and that this company's insured, but it's very not likely. The photos on LinkedIn and Facebook for this Ingenia Home Services looked real familiar and I couldn't quite place it. Matthew Burdick was on Twitter Live doing an epic multi-hour live video broadcast. For hours he was just stating over and over and over again he wanted Peter John Ross to come on there and ask him questions. So I relented and I did. I logged in and, by typing in my responses, I asked him a few questions.
No, I think that's too hard for him to have an actual conversation. Ah, there he is. Now, Peter, it's just you and I. Any account that comes into this room will be blocked immediately.
Now, before I engage with Matthew Burdick, I have a history with the guy, and ever since we started making the documentary, I've made rules. Never lose your temper, never insult, never do name calling, but also never ever let the lie stand. When he says something about me that isn't true, correct it politely. And those are my rules, and I adhere to those rules. So on this night, I engaged and I started asking him questions. I was curious about a few things, and he was not very civil, but then at some point, things took a very dark turn for no reason. Now,
notice you've never sued me for defamation in California, Mr. I can't find him and I'm going to sue him. You're a pussy. You won't file that lawsuit because you know you'll fucking get trounced in court. You don't need my address to sue me in the city of San Francisco. All you need to do is file the suit and I'll file a motion saying I accept. Do you understand? Pussy. You won't file it. Give me an address. You don't need my address.
he kept saying, use the address from the website. That's not actually his address. So he got frustrated that I was not losing my temper and that I was not calling him names. I had filed for a civil stalking protection order in 2015. We couldn't find him to serve him, and eventually it had to be dropped. So I was interested. He had been recently calling me a murderer.
Peter John Ross is a murderer. He's a murderer. A murderer. He murders.
He was saying that I, was hurting African Americans in this country and others, all of which is nonsense. And I would correct him. I'd say that isn't true. He then kind of took a very dark turn.
Stop talking. Sue me, fat boy. You don't need my address, fat boy. File the lawsuit, fat boy. I see, fat boy. Fat boy. You know what I know about fat boys? They won't file lawsuits. What's it like to be a fat boy? Fat boy, fat boy, fat boy, fat boy, fat boy. You don't need my address. File the suit. I will accept service. Sue me, fat ass. Sue me, fat ass.
Ever since seeing the 1989 movie Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze, there was this one little thing in it that irrevocably changed my life.
If somebody gets in your face and calls you a cocksucker, I want you to be nice.
Being called a cocksucker isn't personal?
No. It's two nouns combined to elicit a prescribed response.
Mind-blowing revelation for me. Just completely changed my outlook. Every single insult that ever got me angry just evaporated with that one line. I've never felt anger at any insult hurled at me the rest of my life. When I don't lose my temper, he seems to always lose his. And it became like talking to a child at that moment. It was very surreal.
And if I'm the plaintiff, I have the advantage, fat ass. So you better file first. Not you, certainly. If you came to my house, I can tell you this right now. I've got a drywall knife, and I would put it through your skull and cut a hole in your brain. Just to be clear, you wouldn't walk away alive if you came near me. I promise you that. I am not afraid of you. Not in the least. If you approach me, if you come within 1 foot of me, I will feel threatened, and I will literally take a drywall knife and I will cut a hole in your skull and give you a lobotomy and leave you dead on a sidewalk if you approach me in that manner. Do you understand me? I am not afraid of you. I have no fear of you. And if you continue to threaten me like you have been, I will literally put a drywall knife through your skull and cut a hole in your brain.
So when he starts saying, I'm not afraid of you, I'm not afraid of you, but if you come near me, I'm going to feel threatened and cut into your skull. That's like a contradiction. I mean, he was smart enough to try to use the legalese to cover his ass, but it didn't when he's saying, I'm not afraid of you, but I'm going to pretend to be afraid of you and claim self-defense. After that little exchange, I had decided I am not going to engage with him anymore under any circumstances. I don't think it's productive. I don't think he can be reasoned with. There was no point in trying anymore. A few days later, after he kind of realized he was blocked, a brand new Twitter account shows up that calls itself Drywall Knife, with a picture of a drywall knife. It made one reply to me accusing me of having added audience applause to a Q&A video I had, which I didn't do. And instead of responding to it, I just blocked it right away. It was kind of a veiled threat. So the issue becomes, how do you prove that's him? How do you connect with someone like Twitter, a giant behemoth that has only AI? How do you convey to an AI machine that this is the same person? He's likely going to get away with this. Cut back to February 2022, we find this Ingenia Home Support Services, and we find that one of the photos of work that he's done is the exact photo used as the profile picture on Twitter for the Drywall Saw account. The pictures were even posted within a day or two of each other. Same pictures, same guy, same threats. Now I have something that I can present in court. Now, getting this through to Twitter is impossible. There's no human element there. They've converted everything to artificial intelligence for moderating. And guess what? Drywall Saw Twitter account still exists today. There should be consequences when you're harassing and intimidating people. And so far, none. No consequences whatsoever. Laws have not caught up. Law enforcement then is powerless to do anything. And social media companies like Twitter, Facebook, and Google have no obligation to lift a finger to help you. And they generally do not. When someone's harassing another person in this way, we're in an all new frontier. So this is just one example of how difficult it is to prove when someone's harassing you when they can use anonymity as a shield. How hard and how much work was put into just proving one little threat. And even then, you don't know if the judge or a jury is going to take that in and believe it, even though it's absolutely true. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this, watch the film. Please like and subscribe. We'll have more on this as this story is ongoing. And I'm going to see this through to the very end. So thank you.